So it doesn't really snow in Georgia. We got maybe 2 or 3 inches here, but y'all know I was up in
Hmm.
the mountains and we had so much snow. And then it snowed here again the other day, but it sprinkled. It was like 40 degrees and it sprinkled snow for like an hour and it was gone. I was like, well, that was fun.
Respectfully, absolutely the fuck not.
Yeah.
I
I'm over this cold weather. That groundhog can suck it. Like,
Is it gonna
uh-uh.
allegedly it's gonna be pretty warm here today? Is it gonna be warm there today? We're in Atlanta. Heather?
I'm really bad at checking the weather because I don't
Mm.
actually trust the Apple weather app. I think it sucks.
Yeah, it does. It's
Um,
always wrong.
my husband has the Galaxy and it's always, and I've been really torn. It's 41. It's actually going to get up to 69.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey.
And then the air quality has been really crappy here. It's been like in the red and orange. And I wonder what that's about, but I swear they bioengineered that storm. Because
Hmm.
not to get like too like deep state on you guys, but like if you look at a lot of the flight patterns of some of the military, they were like front loading with weather modification planes, like front loading the storm. Um And then everybody was so funny on TikTok and stuff. They're like trying to melt their snow and it's like turning black. And I'm like, y'all realize this is just really compacted ice and you're just trapping the smoke. It's not plastic. It's
What the hell?
come on. People will believe anything. It's really
I didn't
funny.
get on that side of TikTok.
That's why I don't get on TikTok because I got in a
Hmm.
deep state like
Mm.
wormhole and I was like, okay, this is bad for my mental health. I
Hmm.
prefer oblivious naivety. Like ignorance is
Like
bliss. Let
me.
me just live peacefully in my stupidity.
Uh
Um,
huh.
Truly though, like that's the secret. Like you want to know like how to manage stress, stop
Uh-huh.
watching the fucking news.
So
Like
true.
truly, like you'd be surprised of how happy you are.
it's like I know it's happening and I'll have a voice about it, right? Especially for like child protection and women protection or whatever. But at the end of the day, like I know I'm a very anxious person and I
Hmm.
went down this whole um that movie that the Obamas directed or whatever, the When the World Ends, the weird like the deer like staring and following the girl around or whatever. Do y'all remember that? It was like
No.
all
Mm-mm.
of like the Wi-Fi power, all of that stuff like went out in the world. It was like Leave the World Behind or something. Um, and I'm gonna mute myself for a
I
second.
must have been watching Bridgerton when that was on. I didn't watch that.
Dude, truly, I'm
Oh,
like
this
watching
came
Peaky.
out. This came out before Trump was in office. I mean, it's been a little while. Um, but I do very much believe that they hide in plain sight. Like they tell you their plans like very openly. And so
Mhm.
in my head, I'm like, they're telling us that they're gonna have this major Wi-Fi outage everywhere. Me and Zach have this room, like we have plated vests, we have probably 2,000 rounds of ammo. We have
4,000 gallons of water.
we actually have like a big like collapsible like trash can that you can collect rain in. And then we have like water
Mm.
filtration straws. I have med kits, I have an intubation kit, I have suture kits.
You
Like
know this is going on YouTube, right? So if something happens, I was gonna be at your house.
but yeah, and like
She also has
I
a full
apologize
arsenal.
to everybody watching, but these are my personal opinions and I am not reflecting them onto you guys at all. Everybody has their complete right to however they want to feel. But I told him I was
But
like, because our plan initially was, all right, we're going to get down to the family land and get with my family, but that's a 3 hour drive, much less a walk. But I actually have a hard map that's like routed, like I have it routed to my sister's house so that we can. But I told him, I was like, listen, if we don't have gas and stuff like that, I'm not hiking down there because I'm not leaving my dogs behind. I will die here with them.
I love
So
that you guys have a full-on plan for this.
I will die with my dog. I don't want to live in a world like that. And I know that sounds really morbid, but
Yeah,
it really doesn't because like I know where I'm going and heaven
yeah.
is a lot more appealing than this crap here. And I don't want to live in a like I don't want to have to scrounge for food. I don't want to live in that society. I would rather take me out in a nuclear blast, let me go to heaven and be like
The nuclear blast.
what else?
mhm.
Like, what greater place could I possibly be? Like, heck no, I don't want to stay here on this trash earth. Like, beam me up,
Truly.
Scotty. You know, like,
You want to be like the fucking chariot, like was it Elijah or Elisha? Just
yeah,
like
like just take. I don't need to. You just take me, God. Like, we're good. Me and you, homies. We've been talking. Like, I'm set. Let's go. But we have a deal that the dogs come with me. And
Mm.
so Zach was really funny. He was like, because we were talking about the rapture, and he was like, because I'll get tearful about it because I'm like, I hope that we die of old age because as much as I think the rapture very well could happen now, do I think it is in our timeline? I don't know. It's not my timeline to figure out, but
Mm.
I can't stand the idea of me and him leaving and then the dogs being stuck here on Earth by themselves to like fend for
Hmm.
themselves. And but I do very much believe that animals are in heaven. And so Zach was like, we'll just hold on to them really, really hard. And I was like, I don't think this
Mhm.
is like an abduction type situation where, something like some beam of light's just going to come suck us up and whatever we're holding on to gets to go with us. I was like, but I like the way you think. I was like, I'll grab the little ones, you grab the big ones, and we'll just go. But yeah, I even bought like a backpack that carries Frenchies. Because I was like, if we do have to walk, there's no way the Frenchies are going to make it. Like, they can't
Mhm.
walk that much. I was like, I'm going to have to carry them. And then, like, poor Katana's afraid of her own, like, tail. Like, she's not going to survive in the woods.
Hmm.
Um, anyway, that got really morbid really
At
quickly.
least there is a pack of them, they're all together. There's like
Yeah.
you have
Right.
a full-on pack.
And here's my Venus butt. See, here's Venus. Whoop,
Mm.
that's my keyboard. Um, but anyway, that took a fun little turn.
The
Now,
rapture comes
Heather,
and
though, I'm
Lily's
with
gonna
you.
be wanting us to freaking throw her ball and give her a treat. She's not gonna know what the fuck is going on, so she'd still be trying to get us to throw her damn ball. That's all she cares about. That's her life. Is
Useful
throwing that ball.
distraction.
That's throwing that ball. She'd kill me and Corey both for a treat. I know it for a pizza crust. A
That's
few
funny.
Pizza
seconds.
crust.
She would. She'd take us both out for a pizza crust.
My dog will
Anyway,
just I don't know, like this one right here, Athena, she is so eager to please. Um, and I knew Dobermans were Velcro dogs, but I did not realize the severity of Velcro dogs that they are. Like
oh
Hmm.
really?
she is always on top of somebody. She's either on top of me or Zach, or she'll pile up on the other dogs. Like she is always touching or cuddling, or like right now, she's literally just sitting here staring at me.
Hmm.
And
She has
Lacey's
to be
trying to get away from the
attached.
boys.
What are you eating, Ashley?
Cream of rice.
Hmm.
I wish I liked cream of rice. I just really don't.
What do
At this
what
point, food is food. Like we're pushing food. It's just fucking get it in.
do you have like anything sweet in your meal plan, or is it all just savory stuff?
I don't. Are you asking me?
Oh, both of you.
Oh, well, I mean, when you're eating 620 grams of carbs, mostly everything's fucking sweet, right? But
Hmm.
like, one, I also don't do a meal plan. I just do my macros, but I'm not like if it fits your macros, silly goose.
Hmm.
I'm like fueling as an athlete. But at some point, it's like you can only handle so much sweet where it's like, dude, if I'm just eating a loaf of bread, so fucking be it. Like,
Hmm.
I'm very much in my Hobbit era where I'm just like eating like a little like, loaf of bread, some dates, some blue cheese, and some chicken, and we're just like finger fooding it. But you got to do what you got to do when you want to grow, you know?
For real.
I saw your little post about what got you into baking, and I thought that that was really, really sweet.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I mean, I love baking, but obviously I love it more because of what my mom taught me. And it just kind of like makes sense because like as bodybuilders, we're either in the gym or we're in the kitchen, right? So just kind of like works on both avenues. But yeah, I think it's just a lot of fun to create, but just in a different way.
Yeah. No, I love it. I enjoy baking a lot too, but I can't because I eat it. And I'm
But see, if you own a business, then you know you can't because you're going to be eating into your profit. So it's kind of like a
That's
reverse
true.
psychology.
That's true. Because I bake cookies a lot for like my friends and stuff. And I actually used to have an online like shop on Etsy. And it got, I hated it because I'd get an order in the middle of the week and I'm like, crap, now I gotta bake like 3 batches of cookies on a Wednesday. And it took all the love out of it for me. And I was like, you know what?
Yep.
I'm done. And now people
Right.
are like, hey, can I buy some cookies? And I was like, no, but I can give you the recipe and you can make your own.
Hmm.
Hmm. Ashley, do you? I had a few people tell me that I should, when I was like baking cookies at Christmas time for everybody, that I should like do a little business and like monotonize it. And I was like, no, because this is the one thing that I like genuinely enjoy. And I
Hmm.
second, it's like a business or something I have to do, or like try to monotonize it. Like I'm gonna, it's gonna make me not love it. Do you think that that's, could you see that happening at all, or is that a concern?
It was a concern initially, but at the end of the day, like with coaching, you have to have boundaries. So it's like I only have limited releases where it's like I do kind of like holidays, and if it's a specialty order, it's going to be a console thing. But like I don't have a website, I don't have an order form, so I'm not just getting bombarded with shit. It's like
Hmm.
if there is going to be an order placed, we're going to have a conversation about it and it will be shipped or fulfilled in a timely manner, of course, to be professional. But I'm not just like having an order form and then like cooking randomly on a Wednesday, right? Because that
Hmm.
would be miserable. But like most of us, I get a wild hair at my butt and I'm like, oh, I want to bake this week. I'll bake a
Hmm.
surplus and then I'll do a limited release. And that's how I like to do it.
Yeah.
I do like those companies like PDX does this, but more so like the Real Donut Queen. She has her little brownie business.
Hmm.
You know, she
Hmm.
bakes like this is the menu
Hmm.
this month, you know, and here's how many we have. And when I'm out, I'm out. And like
Exactly.
that's the way that I would have to do it is and we did talk last week, I think, or the week before about really setting boundaries and how important that is.
Hmm.
Because people will push you past, they will test your boundaries, they will push
Oh
as
yeah.
much as they can. Because innately people are very selfish, you know, and self-centered, even when they don't necessarily mean to be.
Yep.
Everybody seems to focus on, well, this is what works for me, so this must work for everybody else, which is
Hmm.
the case. All right.
Yeah.
Today we wanted, oh, hey guys, we have Ash Markham with us today.
Okay.
So I guess we'll let you introduce yourself and then we'll talk.
That's hilarious. No,
Here
I'm
she
just one of the
is.
girls. I'm just be popping.
Here she is.
Oh, my bad, dog.
That's so funny. No, but I'm Ash Markham. So I don't know how you want to introduce myself, but first, like I own Myo Strength LLC, so I, coach bodybuilders, coach lifestyle, functional health. Also own Muscle Mommy Bakery up there where brownies, cookies, cakes, what you name it. I just love like being in the kitchen and creating. So that's kind of like the entrepreneur side. But much like Angela, I've kind of had like the whole like fat to fit story where like when I was 16, I was morbidly obese, like 260 pounds. And obviously got out of a relationship. I was like, I need to focus on myself. And I definitely wasn't happy with how I looked or how I felt. And this was the era, and mind you guys, like I'm gonna be 30 this year. So like we didn't really have like social media per se. Like we had it, but it wasn't like what it is today. But we had like magazines and stuff like that. And
Hmm.
being like catered to as a young female, it was very much like everyone wanted to be skinny, right? This was like the Nicole Richie. This is before
Hmm.
the Kardashians had all their fucking implants or whatever. And
Hmm.
everyone was just like a fucking stick, like your arm. And I was like, oh, well, in order for me to be happy like everyone else, I need to be a stick, right? Ended up losing like 125 pounds in a year, right? Coaching, like if you heard that you were a coach, people would like be like basketball,
Yeah.
football, right? Because like online coaching was not yet a thing, right? And so like I essentially coached myself, but I was believe it or not on bodybuilding forums and shit like that, doing all types of diets, trying to figure out like what would stick, and really what stuck was tracking my calories, right? Downloading my fitness pal at 16 years old. And unfortunately, due to how desperate I was for validation from others, t attention from the boys, girls fitting into clothes like Abercrombie or fucking Aeropostale rather than the plus section at Deb's, like I just
Deb.
wanted, yeah, holler. I just wanted to be accepted, right? And I wanted to feel beautiful, and I didn't realize that because what I was chasing, I would never find, it did spiral into anorexia and eating disorders and stuff like that. And eventually I got to the point where I was fitting into my friend's 00 pants, right? And I'm 5'7". And although I kind of roll my eyes at the big boned, like compliment or pass that your parents give you, like I am 5'7". I'm a big lady. Like I got broader shoulders, I got bigger hips, like I can put on size, right? But it's something where you're fitting in 00 pants. It's like, whoo, you would like turn the wrong way and slip through the crack of a baseboard. You know what I'm saying? So it is something where I did fall in love with the gym, but I also hated it. I hated how much I needed it. I hated it how much that I would push myself in the gym and not be productive in any way. And then I would obviously feel out of control with food because I viewed food as a prison but also as an escape, right? There was so much like mental demons to still work out. And thankfully, I'm no longer in that position, but I was like, because I went through essentially hell, how can I help females or even males in this position feel strong and feel confident and build a physique that they're proud of, to build a body and a mind that they're proud of, and not just want to perpetually punish themselves because they feel empty or they don't feel like they're accepted in society or whatever the fuck, right? So at the end of the day, if you're gonna bodybuild, you need to fucking do it for yourself. You need to be proud of what you bring to the table and be proud of what you have built and what you want to build, and learn to take a compliment and not just be like a little meek beak and be and keep like passing off compliments, because you should be proud of yourself and what you are doing every single day. And also you can still want better for yourself. It's both, right? But I know as the bodybuilders, it's like either we think we're God's gift to the world or we just can't fucking accept a compliment. And it's like both have destructive tendencies in their own way. So it's like really finding that balance and being proud that you're a goddamn bodybuilder, because that shit's really fucking cool. It really is cool. And I freaking love this sport and I love the space.
Mhm. Yeah, awesome. So
This
when
is,
oh, go ahead, Heather.
I'll say this is Ash's journey from bikini to women's bodybuilding. Stay tuned.
Essentially.
That's I literally was just about to say that. So we started in bikini. Did you have a coach for your first show?
Okay, here's the deal. I have been coached since 2018 and I have not missed a check-in.
Since 2018?
Since 2018. I hired my first
Wow.
coach in 2018. We I don't know how, like again, I'm a Christian too, so like God's fucking gift of keeping us protected financially, because we were silly gooses. Like my husband and I were high school sweethearts. We've been married almost 10 years.
Silly
We moved
gooses.
dude, we were such silly gooses. We moved to Charleston, not a fucking dime in our pocket. And I was like, this is where I was like so disordered, where I was like, well, I know I need help with building a physique. I didn't
Mhm.
really know where to get started. I was referred to this coach by a friend that was coached by him, hired a coach. But again, we moved to Charleston. We were paying downtown rent. Eric didn't even have his big boy job yet. I was like, sometimes I wish I could go back in time and
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
just kind of just a little love spank, you know what I'm saying? Love spank my
Mhm.
former self. But hired a bodybuilding coach, and it was bikini. I was also vegan at the time because again, like I was so desperate to
Mhm.
just feel accepted by a community in a space that
Mhm.
like I was vegan, I did marathons, I did everything because I didn't know who I was, right?
Right.
But eventually like bodybuilding clicked for me, and although I did very much silly goose things in the beginning just due to inexperience and age, like I have always been aggressive, right? Like I am an Aries. I'm very
Mhm.
fiery. I'm very aggressive. But sometimes that aggression leads to kind of leaving logic at the door
Mhm.
when you need to think through things, especially as a female, especially before hopping on PEDs, right?
Mhm.
I didn't do none of that. So it was definitely something where I was a part of that toxic bodybuilding community where it was like, you better fucking win and do everything you fucking can. And I did,
Mhm.
and it was not what I should have done,
Yeah.
right? And now it's like I don't know if I'll ever compete again. Like, would I like to? Maybe, but also like I'm not married to the stage. I'm just married to becoming as big as I possibly can, having
Mhm.
fun in the gym, having fun with my husband, and living my life in the best way that I can.
Mhm.
I
Have
think
you
there's a
talked? Oh, sorry. Have you talked him into ever possibly competing? The last time we talked about this, we were in the gym, and you were like, you were planting the seed heavily.
Here's the deal. Does he want to step on stage? I think it'd be a really cool, like, I hate to use the term bucket list because I know we kind of roll our
Mhm.
eyes at the people that don't get in shape, but Eric would respect the sport enough to do his due diligence, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
he
yeah.
wants to grow right now. Like, he wants to grow for 3, 4 years at least, and we'll reassess, right?
Mhm.
But also, we look at our finances, we look at what we want to do. Do we want to, support our friends going to Mexico to get married? Do we want to be a part of that? Like, there are other things that financially we want to do. And it's like, even though he's a dude, and he's not
Yeah.
having to spend thousands of dollars on his little trunks. Like, let's
No,
not be
well, he'll spend
naive.
thousands of dollars on other things.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah,
like, but like, let's not
it
be naive
balances
and
out.
think, exactly. So it's like, so we'll reassess, right? But like, as of right now, we want to respect the sport by building up our bodies,
Hmm.
right? And again, there are competitions all the fucking time. There are age brackets if we decide that we want to do it when we're 35 plus. Like it just like we have so many opportunities to
Oh
compete
yeah.
that if we feel aligned with it and we can afford it, fuck it, we'll do it. But we want to do right by it and
Mhm.
do right by ourselves. So while yes, the stage is always going to be there, we still want to like live our lives too. So it's just kind of
Yeah.
figuring out like since we're turning 30 this year, like
Mhm.
what we want our 30s to look like.
Mhm. Absolutely. What were you gonna say, Heather?
There was a couple of good points that we could take out of that and like trail with. First and foremost is one that life balance and understanding that the stage isn't going anywhere. I
Mhm.
think a lot of people get so caught up, and we see this a lot. We see this a lot on the pro circuits too, where people just don't take any time off. They just
Mhm.
power through, power through, and it's like, how much growth are you actually doing? How detrimental are you being to your health? Where is your longevity mindset and health wise in the sport? And then the other point, and we can take them and segment them or whatever, um, is really building into or choosing a division. There's two different things. One, you pick a division based on your genetics if you really just want to compete, and you train with your genetic potential into that division, or you pick a division that, like Ashley, like, does she have the frame of a women's bodybuilder right now? No, but she knows, like, in her heart, that's what she wants to be. So she's taken that time, that due diligence, she's eating her food and gaining weight and putting on that size. And I think that's where a lot of people burn out on the sport. Is they're not training for the division that they want to be in, or they're settling for a division that is not really where their heart is, or they're not
Mhm.
taking enough time. Sorry, the dogs are distracting me. I'm gonna have to start
What?
going back upstairs when I do this. But anyway, those were the
Yeah, and
points.
just grossly underestimating the time that it really takes. Like
Mhm.
you don't know what you don't know, and then especially if you have a maybe a coach that is eager to get you on stage, you just don't know. You really have no concept of the time that it truly takes to grow
Right. And I
muscle.
also took a
It's
6 year off season for bikini, right? Because I
yeah.
just like that's how little muscle I had when I first competed anyway, as a natural vegan at the time. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Mhm.
like, regardless of your division, it's going to take time to grow muscle, right?
Yeah, well,
It's
like
going to
general
take that time.
population is just so confused by that because it's like
Mm,
what we
yeah.
think is like, oh, let me go do, let me get on one of these scales. Oh, it told me that I lost 15 pounds and put on 8 pounds of muscle in the last month. They're like very, very confused at what
Yes.
like actually, and that's just the mindset you have like going into like usually a first show, unless you have some pretty smart people around you that are telling you like the truth. But
Hmm.
what was the first point again? Oh, living balance. You know what? The thing about balance in this lifestyle, it's so interesting because I feel like I get to
You know,
see two sides of it. Is like from a hobby standpoint and like and understanding that this is like a hobby and like we should be having fun and like we should be having life, but then I also get a very unique perspective because I see it from Corey's perspective where you're trying to be Mr. Olympia open bodybuilder and like the
Hmm.
level of balance that can be there when like just it is extremely competitive over there in that world. And also like the size, like you can't the balance is going to be much less in that world, depending on what you're like. If you're trying to like make a career of this and like achieve like that level, I mean, truthfully, like there really can't be much balance for him,
No.
well,
you
balance
know?
No.
looks different for each person too.
Yeah,
Like for
yeah,
Corey, his balance is he takes enough time off to make sure that he's healthy in between protocols.
Hmm.
That's balance in a sense,
exactly. Yeah.
And then but he also has a partner that's in the sport
Mhm.
that understands it. And so
Hmm.
he can get away with less life in between. And I don't mean that in any,
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no, no.
whereas
I know what you mean.
my husband would leave me if I acted like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like if I lived in
exactly.
this constant, like, and I don't say robotic in a negative way,
No,
because
no,
like,
no.
but
Yeah.
if I didn't give and take some, then that's where like everybody's line of balance and what is healthy for them mentally and physically is going to be different. And
Yep.
and that's okay. It can look
Hmm.
like that and it's okay to have that mindset like Corey. Like I think Meg Morrison is a really good example of this. She very much
Hmm.
lives, eats, breathes bodybuilding. But you know
Hmm.
what? Her husband is fully supportive. He's right there with her in the gym, pushing her. So like
Mhm.
that that is balance for them because
Right.
they have that relationship where they
Hmm.
can, and now he's talking about competing or whatever. She's also a great example of, you know, trying to fit in a division that didn't necessarily fit her genetics at first with the wellness. And,
Mhm.
do I think she could have gotten there? Yes, because she's also a really good example of where work ethic meets genetics. And,
Hmm.
I kind of like, she's kind of like a female Keon to me. Like her genetic ability to put on mass and do it in a way where she still looks feminine is incredible.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But she
And
also
stay
can't be
lean.
outworked. Like she don't slip. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there are people that can do that, and even with like Amanda and Keon, like everybody gave Amanda such a really hard time about not competing in Prague. Well, maybe that's what balance looked like for them,
Hmm.
like
Balance requires context, but that's the thing is like people snooping on social media, they don't get that context. And quite frankly, like they don't really need to. It's not their place to know everyone's like business and lies. But I think social media has like really just kind of exposed a nasty trait of the human population of demanding to know every little thing about every little person. And it's like, you don't get to know that. Now, if you want to share it, that's fine. That's on you, right? But you also need to protect yourself with having boundaries of what do you want to share with the world, right? When it comes to your physique, your photos, your marriage, whatever. And I'm a very open and vulnerable person, but like I'm not putting everything on display on social media, right? It's like I'll tell you that I'm a real person and I'll tell you that I struggle or have goals that scare me or whatever, but also like my life is not social media, right? It's not, it can't be. But if your life is social media, then you're always going to be wanting more and more from the people that you follow. And then in a lot of ways, you feel entitled to know every little thing about them. And it's like, I'm sorry, but you don't. You don't get to know that.
I think that's a big problem in life in general now is people's sense of entitlement because they
Mm,
feel entitled to anything and everything. And I think it's like, golly, there was a study. I don't know how old you are, Ash, so I don't mean to lump you into this, but like that Gen Z actually is showing cognitive decline, like
mm,
that the younger population, and it's all of it's easy access to information. Like people have forgotten how to be resourceful
hmm
because they don't have to be, and like I see it a lot in my own patients and patients watching this, all five of you. I'm not talking about you, okay? But like, why are you asking me a question that you could easily like go figure out for yourself or something like that, But it
We
is,
talked about this. Remember, Ashley? I think we talked about that one time. It was like there was somebody asked you a question on Google when you do the Q&As, and people ask you questions that are like, "Come on now, you can fucking figure that out."
yeah.
Yeah, I think like one of the most recent ones was like, what's the difference between these two supplements? And I'm like, Google it. Like I don't know. I don't have everything memorized, you guys. I don't have everything studied and researched. Well, yes, I'm intelligent, and yes, I pay for continuing education. Like I don't have a photographic memory where I can be like, oh, this supplement has this 100 milligrams of fenugreek, and this one has only this many of fenugreek. It's like I don't know. But what I would do to find the answer is Google, take a screenshot, get together a fucking side by side and compare. Right? Like that's
Right.
what I would do. And like Heather, I'm 29 and gonna be 30. So like I'm in that weird like 90s cutoff baby where it's
Right.
like
So is my husband.
just yeah, exactly. So it's like I'm
Just
not
like
really
us.
sure where I fit in, but it's still one of those things where it's like I definitely understand the access to technology and the access to people has kind of ruined this generation and this like behavior as human beings, but also like in a lot of ways it's connected us in a cool way because like obviously without like social media like I wouldn't be able to be on this podcast right now which is really cool because I respect
Yeah.
both of you. Like Angela's one of my close friends. Like Heather, I really love what you stand for. I love your look. I love just your contribution to the sport that I love. So it's like it's the good with the bad. There's always going to be a
Yep.
trade-off. It just depends on how you use it.
Yeah. We got you. You guys are first of all two things. One, it just occurred to me. You were born in '96,
Mhm.
the same year as my oldest child. My son's gonna be 30 this
Damn.
year. This literally just fucking occurred to me. That's wild. But two, this when we were talking about entitlement, I was this girl called the salon yesterday and she asked me do we have anybody that does, I lost you guys. Do we have anybody that does pageant hair and makeup? And I said, no. She called the salon phone. I said, no, we don't have anybody that specializes in that, but I know someone personally. I can give you her name and number. And she says, oh my gosh, thank you so much. She's like, I'm actually just putting my kids down to and feeding them, getting ready to feed them dinner. Would you mind just texting it to me? And I'm just like, yeah, but to me, it's like you're literally calling me. I'm about to give you a referral. It doesn't do anything for me. I'm just trying to help you out. And you're like so entitled that you can't get a pen and piece of paper or take a note in your phone that you want me to take out your number because I don't know your number because you're calling the salon phone, get my cell phone and send you a referral from my phone. Like it's just like and just to just ask it so easily without any thought. It's just like you want me to take more of my time. I don't know you from anybody. You just called my salon. So it's like that. I
Or why didn't you
that
call
to
when
me
you
is
had time? Like, why are you
right.
calling? Like when you have like two
Exactly.
seconds,
Yeah.
you know?
So your time is more valuable than mine. You're busy. You're busy with your kids, but I should take more time. I don't even know you, but I should take more of my time to send it. But so it's like, but that is the thought process, like all the time. Like I get that a lot, and it does not matter of age or anything like that. It's just like it's just that sense of entitlement that is like it's absolutely wild. It's
I
Mhm.
get people pissed off
wild.
that I don't have same day appointments available.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dude,
well, I
that's
was
kind of
really,
like with bodybuilding though. It's like
mhm.
people think that Jeff Bezos is gonna fucking like just fucking in like 2 day a donk, right? And I'm like,
Hmm.
I'm sorry, like this shit takes fucking time. It takes food, it takes hard ass training, it takes consistency, and it takes time, years and years and years. But you also can't fucking expect to have a fat ass and weigh as
Right.
much as a third grader. Like those
Right.
expectations do not line up. And I think a lot of the problems nowadays is just people's expectations are just so fucked up. I'm like, we need to
Hmm.
come back down on planet Earth, right?
Mhm.
Like, truly, we need to, like, we're up here, we need to simmer the fuck down, and we need to be realistic, right? And I feel like that also goes back into, like, being in a bigger division. My expectation for being, like, WBB, dude, I do not fucking expect to be Ashley Jones. Like, do you know how delulu I would have to be to think that I would ever light the smallest little flame to that badass woman?
She's
No.
incredible.
Incredible,
I love her
beautiful,
structure so much.
right? And I'm like, thank God she exists for this sport, right? But here's what I'm gonna do to honor myself in bodybuilding is I'm gonna see how big and beautiful I can get with or without the stage, right? And that's something that I would love to see more women do is
Right. And you're not
not
entitled to it. You're not like, well,
no.
if I show up, like, then I deserve to get bigger. Like, you're like, no, I'm going to put in the work for as long as
Mhm,
it takes and I'm going to shut the fuck up and I'm just going to do it. Whereas
mhm.
opposed to people who are like, they think that they're just like entitled. Well, like after a month, they're posting like they're entitled to it. Like, I'm ready to
Right.
win a show. I'm winning Road to Pro
Right.
1
And
month.
then the reason why I shut the fuck up about it is because I'm having fun.
Yeah.
This is allowed to be fun too. This is allowed to be
Hmm.
like something that you look forward to, right? Like, and there was definitely a time in bodybuilding where I was like so hardcore where I was like literally miserable because I thought
Yeah.
you had to be miserable in order to be hardcore. Like, I struggled really hard with the black and white thinking
Hmm.
because a lot of the type A perfectionists, hi, hello, Ash Markham, like, you
Sorry.
struggle with the ability that two things can exist at the same time, but you can both work hard and have fun and be proud of yourself and want more. All of those four things can coexist, and in fact, if you want to be successful, they should.
Well, I
Yeah.
think too, people get so hung up on the clout that comes with
Mm,
the stage too. And I think that's where you see a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
failing to actually progress and get better is they do get addicted, not necessarily to a stage, but the attention that they get being stage
Mm-hmm.
lean.
mhm,
And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's where a lot of like post-show blues come from is not necessarily even seeing the body change, but seeing that level of attention that you're getting change.
mhm.
And so when you are doing something that is truly internally driven and a passion of yourself, you don't look for that external validation. And you should never get on the stage because, oh, well, everybody at my gym does it and I just want to fit in. And you can very much look like you compete and live that lifestyle without ever stepping on stage, especially when
Mm-hmm.
you do it out of a passion or a desire just to grow. And I think that that's a really important thing to talk about is like at the end of the day, and I say this with love, like nobody gives a crap how I place but me.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, and I had to tell myself going into this prep because I do think I I kind of entered this mentality of I'm getting more anxious stepping on stage because I don't want to disappoint the people that have supported me.
Mm.
And I
Hmm.
had to kind of take that mindset and I'm like, Heather, if you were supporting someone that you love, we'll use Tanya as an example. I am all for her doing women's physique and I absolutely love her structure and I'm just super, super excited for her. But at the end of the day, she made a comment that she's a little nervous of not like meeting the hype that she's getting. And
Hmm.
I'm like, but it
Mm.
doesn't matter because at the end of the day, you love what you're doing. You
Yep.
don't want to have to scale back your training to fit into figure. You want to be able to continue to progress. This is a really smart move for someone that knows that this is the division that they want to be in, get in front of the judges. She actually has the size, and the
Yeah.
structure. We all have that like mental block.
Hmm.
Um, but I lost my train of thought.
I mean, what I
Literally
love
mid
about
sentence.
Tanya,
Supporting her, how whatever. It's not about like the placing or
Yeah,
whatever.
but it's
Yeah.
not about the placing. And like if for some reason she doesn't place well, I'm not thinking any less of her. None of us are because we love her and we support her. And I had to remember that, like going into stage, going, if this was the opposite and I was loving and supporting on someone, am I going to change the way that I feel about them based on how they place? Absolutely not. And that's what I had to tell myself is these people that truly love and support you are going to love and support you no matter where you place, or if you come in 10 pounds flat, you know? Like it's my journey and I've got to do it for myself. And with that too, we'll kind of segue, I guess, into picking that division. And so, if you're new to competing or if you've been competing a really long time, like how do you know when you're in the right division? How do you know when to move divisions and like when to make that call? And so I think first and foremost, like judges' feedback is more important, but what's not important is all your friends' feedback. Like everybody's got their opinion. Like, do I think so and so would do better in this division? Yeah, sure. Does that mean I'm right? No.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And so it's, I think that there's the two segues that you have. One, you pick the division where you are genetically inclined. Like if wellness had existed when I started competing, I would have naturally fallen into wellness. I can grow my legs like
Hmm.
crazy. My upper body doesn't grow at all. Like I have to really push it, and I would not. Figure was always a struggle because my feedback has always been grow your back, grow your back, grow your back. And so and now I don't want to have to downsize my upper body. So I'm training into figure when genetically I'm probably tailored to wellness, but that's because I prefer the figure shape. But that's my preference. I think wellness is beautiful. I just don't want to look like that. I like having a more balanced structure. Plus, I got these boobs. I got to balance them out with
Yeah.
shoulders. And so, um, but you can tailor your genetics, but you still got to work hard because you got people like Meg and Keon who have the genetic structure and the work ethic. You're never going to beat that unless you are out, you outwork yourself.
yeah.
And then, or you take your time, like Ash, and really take away any of that luster or desire to just get the cloud or the stage time or whatever, and you really grow into the division where you want to be. Like this is what I want to walk around looking like, which I think is where a lot of girls get stuck, especially in figure, because like Justin says all the time, like there's a lot of women's physique girls hiding in figure because they
Hmm.
don't structurally have that figure shape. Well, they could take off enough time to structure themselves, but sometimes they don't. And so like where do you draw the line and what do you
Hmm.
decide to do? Or do you just compete for the clout and not really actually care how you place? And at that point, why are you doing that to your body? You know?
And there's a lot like even sort of like with Meg, like I see some girls that like probably should be in women's physique, like you said, or even women's bodybuilding, and they're hiding in figure because they perceive figure as like being feminine. But I feel like I saw like two girls yesterday that I don't even think they're pro yet, and they're like fucking insane figure girls. Like, I'm like, what in the hell?
We've
And I'm
got to get
like,
ahead of figure. Like,
yeah, like they need to, like, I feel it's not fun. I'm going to tell you this. It is not fun to go to the gym, and Ashley, you can speak on this too, and not feel like you're improving or getting stronger. Like if you have to go to the gym because you have to train as a bodybuilder, like we're trying to build a body. So if you
Yep.
get into a mind, if you get to a place where you have to downsize or you have to actually like let muscle, if you can't just freely grow, I cannot imagine that that would be fun. And I see this also like the opposite, like people needing to take more time and then maybe people either needing to level up or um take time out. Like if you're genetically inclined to just put on muscle and you're trying to stay in a division, like that can't be fun either, you
Right.
know?
And also like being okay with growing. Like I wish to God, and this is why I'm so fucking transparent about what it is that I do. Because both in contest prep, I was very transparent, and in this off season, very transparent of like my body weight, my how my body composition looks, my training, my food, right? I am showing women what it fucking takes for me to grow. And so I will celebrate new highs because you don't
Mhm.
fucking ever see that. Don't think I've ever seen a woman being like, "Oh, hey, I touched 165 today. Holy shit, let's fucking go," right? And I'm not advocating for obesity for crying out loud. Like again, there's going to be someone listening being like, yeah, but you're just going to get fat in your off season." No, if you're in your off season and you're making it productive and you're not truly taking it off, you're taking time to improve, honey, that scale weight's going to go up because muscle weighs something,
It has
right? And
to.
it has to, right? And
Yeah.
like I get there's recomp phases, but also like I am someone that wants to maximize my muscle growth. And I'm sorry, but recomping is going to take so much fucking longer than just eating in a ding dang surplus, putting on a little
Ding
extra
dang.
fluff. I mean, for crying out loud, y'all, it's like it's body fat. It ain't gonna hurt you until a certain point.
Well,
But
yes,
like,
but and that's the point. If you're working with a good coach like you or well, either one of us, like your coach isn't going to let you get fat in your off season.
no,
Yeah.
no, right? And like when you get to that point, your body's gonna it's gonna look it, your biofeedback's gonna show it, and then that's when you pull back, you do a mini cut, you do a health phase, whatever the fuck. Right? That's why like phases in bodybuilding, they're like phases in your off season. It's just not become a fat hog and then prep. Like, no,
Mhm.
you have cycles and seasons of productive growth, holding, recomp, diet, whatever, right? But that's not going to happen in just a single year, especially when you need size. That's going to be a several year evolution, and you have to be okay with that. And buy clothes that freaking fit.
And if you're gaining a ton of fat eating good, clean, wholesome food, then there's something wrong with your body.
Mhm.
And
Mm,
you need to get your labs done
Yeah.
hmm
because you should not be gaining excessive amounts of fat if you're actually eating good, clean food and following a meal plan.
mm.
Mhm.
And I think that's where a lot of people fail too.
Like really following it, not like following your meal plan plus like 4 cheats a week. Yeah.
Mm-mm. And
But
I've
yeah, I was,
done tough
go
love with
ahead.
my clients lately because I had she calls them BLTs, like
Oh
bite,
my
licks, taste.
God.
And I was
What
like,
is it? What is it?
BLTs, bite,
What's that?
licks, and taste.
Oh.
And but it's not funny, okay? And I'm not
Mhm.
talking negative about my client at all. I'm going to relate her to myself. And
Well, a
so
lot of people do this. A lot of people.
a lot of people, and there you can kind of figure out what you can get away with. And again, it comes with a balance. Like in your off season, should you be able to eat a little pretzel, like if you really want one? Yes,
Mhm.
but don't come cry to me that you're gaining weight then.
Mm.
You
Mhm.
can't have it both ways. And that's kind of where when I find that someone is very anxious about their weight, that almost tells me they're not following their meal plan. Because
Mhm.
if you are following your meal plan and you know that you're doing what you're being told to do, then you're not going to be hyper focused about the scale. What you're
Yep.
doing is you're inducing guilt that you don't know where to project it because you don't want to admit that you're truly
Mhm.
overeating that
This is
much.
like that is so gold. Like you are nailing it. And people who have like, I'm not saying that you can't have anxiety around the scale, but like like 1,000% what you just said. If you're following the meal plan, like my weight was up a pound today, but I know I haven't done anything different. I followed my plan. I had trained heavy yesterday, so I was like, cool. Like you get on the scale, you have no anxiety about it. You're
Yeah,
like,
because I've done what
it's
I was supposed to
yeah,
do. Like
yeah.
it is what it is.
It's just another data number.
And
But
if
when
my
you're
weight's up,
not,
it's my coach's
yeah,
problem, not mine.
yeah.
All
But
right, bro, what
even
are we
like
doing?
but even like when I was more worried about it, like when I couldn't be consistent in December and I was kind of taking some time away from the gym, or when you're having your surgery, you're more anxious about it because you're not like we know logically we don't care about the meal plan, but when you're not following a plan, you're going to be much more concerned about that, just like you said.
Because it induces that guilt. And it comes
Hmm.
off with like, hey, like, like, yeah, like, okay, I ate this little thing, but there's no way my weight's up 5 pounds. Well, then you didn't just eat that little thing, and your
Mhm.
BLTs are a lot more than you think they are.
Mhm.
And you got to stop because I can't adjust the plan when I don't actually know what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Um, I was talking this one of my friends is getting ready to do her first figure competition and she's in her growth phase and switching coach and I saw her we were talking at the gym last night and I've seen she has incredible genetics like she's going to be great in figure um but I can tell she's not gaining weight like she's very lean
mhm.
and so she was talking about like growing and like and I was like so are you gaining weight like is it go how's your growth like are you seeing like gains and she was like uh slowly. And I'm like, how slow? Like, how much weight have you gained? Like, since you've been, in a surplus? And she's like, mm, 3 or 4-ish pounds. So I'm thinking probably like two. Um, and I'm like, dude, you got to gain weight. Like, you're not going to get fat. We had this whole
Yep.
conversation. So, um, but
And that's the thing. Like from my lowest point in prep, and I nailed my fucking reverse to a T. I have put on 37 pounds. That's fucking incredible, right? And if I
mhm,
keep going this way, like, oh my God, if I was
Oh,
175 by the time December hit, fucking elated, right?
mhm.
Because like this, well, I'm not chasing the scale because that can be a whole other can of worms,
Dude,
right?
I
And
want to
just
see
not
you at 175. That's
right.
wild.
Holy shit, I do too. So does
Yeah.
Eric, right? It
Yeah.
is one of those things where it's just like your identity isn't based on like what you do or the scale or any of that shit. It's
Hmm.
just like it's just part of the journey. So like shake hands with it and stop making it a demon, right? Follow your plan, trust yourself, trust the process. And I get like that's such a cliche thing to say, but like when you are truly trusting in something, you don't think about it, right? Like it's just something that's autopilot, like your coach has your back. Like it's kind of even like Christianity, right? It's like God's got you. So why the fuck am I
Hmm.
worrying? Right? And
Hmm.
now there are definitely human moments where you're a ding dang silly goose and you need prayer or you need to check in with your coach. That's normal. That's a part of the process. But if we are
mhm.
hyper analyzing and second guessing every little fucking thing that we do, that is miserable. Right? And I have done it and I can tell you that hurts your progress more than fucking anything else because that self-doubt is crushing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
anxiety does terrible things to the body. It makes you hold weight. It does a lot of things. And I'll tell you, my very first like real prep, my first figure show ever, I was with Matt Porter. And for those of you that don't know, he's been gone for a while now, but he created MPA subs. It's Matt Porter approved, is what MPA means.
No kidding, dude. I love Vasoburn.
Yeah, Vasoburns incredible. That's Matt
Oh.
Porter. And he passed away in like 2018 or 19. He had a either a pulmonary embolism or a heart attack. It was really, really sad. But great guy. I never weighed myself a single time in prep because he knew that I was coming from a place where I had like a very mental stigma with the scale, and the number on the scale is just one marker. It's not the whole
Hmm.
picture. And so he basically was like, you know what? I don't actually care what you weigh. I care what you look like as long as we're visibly making progress, and I don't care what the number is. And so I
Hmm.
never weighed myself that entire prep. I had no clue what my stage weight was. And it turns out, funny enough, I weighed myself like 2 days after, just out of curiosity. I was the exact same weight as when I started prep.
Mm.
Wow. That's interesting.
It was interesting. I
Hmm.
was
That's
like,
crazy.
how am I 140 pounds?
Yeah, that's
Um,
wild.
and I
But
was
I
a
think that the
135-pound
underlying
bikini girl,
theme
so I was
here,
never I was never meant to be a bikini coach.
yeah, the thing, any for anybody who's watching this and that we keep talking about though in all of this and in a build is following a plan because
Mhm.
there is a much like I talk to people all day long in the salon, and a lot of people come to me for advice and things like that, and they want all of these. They have all of these goals, but they have no absolute fucking plan how to get there, and they're not willing to follow the plan to get there. They just want it, and then they don't get that you follow a plan. I follow a plan. Heather follows a plan. The people that have the physique that you are trying to get, whatever it is, we're all following a fucking plan.
We
Like you
follow a
cannot,
plan.
we don't just like go eat willy-nilly, like, oh, I'm gonna bulk. I'm gonna
And then
go eat
expect
fucking
drugs to undo
pizza.
everything that we're doing. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
What can I
We
take to look
fo
like you? Chicken and rice?
exactly.
You can take some eggs and sourdough bread. That's what you could do.
Right.
Yeah,
Truly.
no,
But yeah,
there's
we
a
I
follow a
plan.
have 5
plan
minutes.
and we're held accountable, right? That's the thing. And like, if you're not ready to be held accountable, it's going to be perceived as judgment. Your coach isn't judging you. They're holding you accountable to what your silly goose butt said you wanted to achieve.
Mhm.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's not personal, right? But if you're not
Yeah.
willing to unbreak these or break these habits that you have instilled in your life, like you are going to be a slave to that. And like, I mean, it's the body fat, whatever the fuck, like being a slave to food or being a slave to your anxiety or being a slave to the
Mhm.
gym because you can't rest. That is so much scarier than, anything else because you are stuck because of yourself, right? And that's
Mhm.
something that like no one can save you from but yourself until you recognize these toxic behaviors that you have to undo, right? And we've all been there, but some of us are further along in that process because we have that self-awareness. And yes, there are some things that maybe you can't change about yourself. And I'm not saying that you should fucking hate yourself because no, of course not. But there are some things that you need to work on and work through. And that's a part of the journey as well, right? But again, it's like it's not going to be this 3 month transformation. It's not going to be this like
Or
crazy
even
fit
6 month transformation
or
in a lot of
six
ways, or a
months.
year. Sometimes it's going to be,
No.
this is your life of constantly trying to like, here we are,
Mhm.
all of us with many, many years under our belts, still trying to improve our physiques. Like
Exactly.
I think each of us has at least 10 years, maybe 15 or longer. And here we are. I'm 45 years old this year and I'm still trying to have a better physique. Like,
Yeah, and for me it was 14, right? Because again, I used to be
hmm
260 pounds, and trust me, that was not a clean 260. Like, trust me,
yeah.
that was dirty, dirty. But it's just it takes
She
time,
was
and you
ready for
have
the
to.
bodybuilding stage.
Oh my God, no, it was like off-season Jay Cutler. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But yeah, it's one of those things you have to have fun with it, and you have to do it for yourself. If you're doing it for clout, other people, to please your friends, to please your mom, like it's not going to be fun. So you have to be realistic with your goals and expectations and what you can accomplish with your genetics and your work ethic. But you also have to pick a division that aligns with you. Again,
Yeah.
do you think my feedback for bikini was, hey, grow into WBB?
No.
No, it fucking wasn't. It was, hey, you need bigger glutes. Like, yeah, okay, if I wanted to stay in bikini, no shit, bigger glutes, right? But my training and my personality is not for bikini. Like I like training legs, but not like that, right? I love training like lower volume, high intensity because I am one of those that's just like what I like to do, right? And I don't mind getting bigger. I want to get bigger. So like in terms of what I want my body to look like, WPD, WBB, just as big as I possibly can get before we start going to the other end of the spectrum and needing a fucking CPAP because girl,
Yeah.
that's not happening.
You need a
No,
CPAP.
I got 1 minute, so we'll wrap up.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, Ashley. We
No, thanks
appreciate
for
you.
having me.
It was such
Of
a good little chat
course.
with you and good to see
Absolutely.
your face.
Yes, yes. And also y'all's last podcast, I was cracking up at like the nip slip and like the ball sack thing. Like truly I was meal prepping in the morning and I was just cackling like while I was cutting my kiwis because that shit was so fucking
Dude,
funny.
and he was in the room. I couldn't tell you that he posted it on his story like a week ago, Heather. He had 1,000 views on his story before. He goes, "Holy fuck." He's like, "I posted this on my story." And he sent it to me and I was like, "What?" And so I zoomed in to see what he was talking about. And
It's
his
so
fucking
funny.
ball sack is hanging out of his trunks.
It's like that movie Waiters.
Yeah.
God
But
Right.
okay,
bless.
well I don't want to hang up on you guys, but I gotta go. My clients